Hi guys, my name is Megan and today I'm going to tell you how I was diagnosed with cancer. From my first doctor's appointment to starting chemo, it took almost a whole month. Now that's a lot longer than usual. Before I start, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and turn on my post notifications so you never miss a video. Let's get started. So I was diagnosed with a type of cancer called Hodgkin's lymphoma at the end of November 2019. A few months before this, I noticed that there was a lump on my neck around here. I didn't really think much of it and I just ignored it because I thought it was going to go away. But after maybe a week or two, I decided to look it up on Google. Worst mistake I ever made. And I found that swollen lymph nodes could be cancer, it could be a symptom of a cold, and it could be a cyst, or it could be like lots of different things. So I had a cold, so I just thought that was because of that and I ignored it. And it still wasn't going away. But then I also still had a cold, which we now know I had a cold because of the type of cancer I had, because that the lymphatic system where my cancer was controls your immune system. So another symptom that I noticed that I didn't realise was because of the cancer was I got a little rash under my ear about here, and it was really small and it like went away after a few weeks, so again I just ignored it. And another thing is I got my seconds pierced, but they got infected about a week later, and well I just ignored that as well and it went away. But because my immune system was so bad, I got lots of these symptoms, but I didn't know that at the time. So also throughout this time that I had my lump, because I looked it up, I got very bad anxiety that it was cancer, so that made me even less likely to do anything about it. And I was crying myself to sleep every night because I was so scared. Then, so a few months after all of this, so in November, my mum noticed the lump and we went to the doctor. My doctor then sent me to get a blood test, an ultrasound and a core biopsy. A core biopsy is a procedure where a needle is passed through the skin to take a sample of tissue from a mass or lump. And yeah. The results from my core biopsy came back inconclusive as there was too much dead tissue, and the ultrasound showed that there was definitely a lump. We could see it, so don't really see why we did one. The only other thing that the ultrasound showed was that there were some lymph nodes on this side that looked a bit weird. And then my blood test came back normal, which is really weird because the type of cancer I had is a blood cancer, so it normally shows up in your blood, but mine didn't, so that made it even more difficult to diagnose. So then I was sent to see an ENT, which is an ear, nose and throat doctor, and he did a surgical biopsy, which is what this first scar is from. A surgical biopsy is a procedure that involves the surgical removal of tissue from a lump or mass. And these results also came back inconclusive, but this biopsy told us I definitely had a type of lymphoma. I was then sent for a CT scan and more blood tests by my doctor, and she also referred me to an oncologist at Queensland Children's Hospital. An oncologist investigates, diagnoses and treats people with cancer or suspected cancer. So I had a consultation with my oncologist, and then he sent me to get a PET scan before having another surgical biopsy. This was just so we could find the perfect angle to try to get a diagnosis. So a PET scan is a positron emission tomography. It is an imaging test that helps reveal how your tissue and organs are functioning. A PET scan uses a radioactive drug to show this activity. This scan can sometimes detect disease before it shows up on other imaging tests. So I was pretty much injected with radiated sugar, and it would go to the things that were eating it up, so that would show the tumours. So after this, I had another surgical biopsy, and it also came back inconclusive, but it was leaning towards Hodgkin's lymphoma as my diagnosis. So my oncologist decided that we would do one more biopsy and at the same time get a portacath placed so I could start chemotherapy. So they were going to just treat it as Hodgkin's lymphoma since they were pretty sure that's what it was, but they did want to be 100% sure, which is why I had the other biopsy. A portacath is a small chamber or reservoir that sits under your skin at the end of your central line. The other end of the line sits in a large vein close to your heart. A portacath is used to give intravenous fluids, blood transfusions, chemotherapy, and other drugs. It is also used for taking blood. This final biopsy finally gave us the diagnosis that I needed so I could start chemo. So I was diagnosed with classical stage 2 AE Hodgkin's lymphoma. I then started chemotherapy a few days later on the 2nd of December. Thank you so much for watching, and if you would like a story time about my treatment or any other video ideas that you have, please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on my video notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.